Hello, dear students. We have studied about the various properties of sulfuric acid, especially the two types of salts which are produced by the sulfuric acid and why, what is the reason, and its oxidizing property, even we have seen it just. Now we want to study about the dehydrating property of concentrated sulfuric acid. So, hot concentrated sulfuric acid is a strong dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent means a chemical substance that removes the water molecule from the other substances is known as the dehydrating agent, as well as strong oxidizing agent too. Oxidizing power of H2SO4 is intermediate between the phosphoric acid and nitric acid. Please remember that the oxidizing power of sulfuric acid is intermediate between the nitric acid and phosphoric acid. Decreasing order of oxidizing power or ability to decrease the oxidizing power can be written as this. Both metals and non-metals are oxidized by the concentrated sulfuric acid. Please remember that metals and non-metals can be easily oxidized by concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid is reduced to sulfur dioxide. So you can see here copper when reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid we get CuSO4, SO2 and H2O. Sulfur when reacts with H2SO4 it produces 3SO2 and 2H2O. Carbon when it reacts with H2SO4 it produces carbon dioxide, H2SO4 and 2H2O. So this is how it really occurs and we can understand it. If we really want to understand what is the exact stepwise process that takes place here, we can even understand it in a better way. Let me try to explain it to you that how this reaction actually takes place. So if we really understand it, you know what happens, that this H2SO4 simply turns itself into H2O, SO2 and a nascent oxygen. You can see that H2 is here, your SO2 is here, and two oxygen which are left, one is here and another is here. Now if you think of Cu, you will add Cu plus this nascent oxygen, that will give you CuO, and then this CuO again reacts with H2SO4, that gives us CuSO4 and H2O. Now if we add all this, what we can simply remove is CuO. This nascent oxygen can also be removed. So you have Cu plus 2H2SO4, that gives you CuSO4. Then you have one water molecule and another water molecule, that is your 2H2O, and you again have this SO2 left with you. So this is how you can get this final reaction. Cu when it reacts with 2H2SO4, it gives you CuSO4, SO2 and H2O. Same thing we can do for carbon and sulfur at the same time. See, if you have H2SO4, you will definitely will have H2O, SO2 and nascent oxygen. Now if you have sulfur, sulfur is oxidized to SO2. Now you need two sulfur, two nascent oxygen here. So you need to multiply the whole equation with 2. Now you can add both this equation. See, two nascent oxygen get cancelled. And what you finally get is S plus 2H2SO4. That is going to give you this 2SO2 plus 1SO2. That gives you 3SO2 and twice H2O. This is the equation that you get, H plus H2SO4, that gives you 3SO2 plus 2H2O. The same you can understand for even carbon. See, if you have H2SO4, you will get H2O plus SO2 plus a nascent oxygen. To convert carbon into CO2, you need two nascent oxygen. So that's how you need to multiply this equation with 2. This 2 nascent oxygen gets removed, and when you add both of them, you can write it C plus 2H2SO4. It gives you CO2 plus 2SO2 plus 2H2O. The same you can see here, that this C, when it reacts with 2H2SO4, it gives us CO2, 2SO2 and 2H2O. So this is how we can understand this oxidation process. Then we have the next question: what happens when calcium fluoride is added to H2SO4? We have already seen one equation, that any metal fluoride or any metal halide, when react with H2SO4, it produces the more volatile acid. So if it is CaF2, it will produce HF. If it is CaCl2, it will produce HCl. If it is CaNO3 twice, it is going to be producing HNO3. So here you can see that calcium fluoride, when reacts with H2SO4, it produces calcium sulfate and the hydrofluoric acid. Then we have second, what happens when SO3 is passed through water? When SO3 is passed through water, water dissolves SO3 to give H2SO4. You can understand that SO3 plus H2O, that gives H2SO4. So this is how we can understand about the various properties of sulfuric acid. Now we need to understand why sulfuric acid is called the king of chemicals. So we'll study the same into the next video. I hope, my dear students, you are enjoying your studies. Happy learning.